Well, let's talk about present perfect tense and the ways of its correct usage. Here we have a presentation devoted to the 5 cases to use present perfect tense. The name present perfect contains the word present, so it is a present tense that tells us something about the present. But we usually use it when we speak about the past actions. So present perfect tense is normally used to connect past actions or states with present situation. This is both the difficulty and the peculiarity of this tense. Firstly, let's look at how to form present perfect. It is formed with the verb have or has plus past participle of the verb. For example, I have finished my homework. He has seen that movie. The verb have is normally contracted in oral speech, and it goes like, I've finished my homework. In negative form, it looks like, here, you can see, I have not finished my homework, or I haven't finished my homework, he has not seen that movie, or he hasn't seen that movie. And when we want to ask a question with present perfect, we put have or has before the subject. It looks like, have you finished? Here we can see, have you finished your homework? Has he seen that movie? So now we know how to form present perfect tense, but the question is how to use it. As we have already mentioned, present perfect connects past actions with present. So what are the ways to connect past and present? So the first case is if it is a past action which was completed in the past, but which has present consequence. If you are sitting at the lesson and the teacher asks you about your homework, you can honestly answer, I haven't done it, meaning that now you're facing the consequences of your past decision not to do your homework. I mean the irritated teacher who is going to put in an unsatisfactory remark to you. Another example we can have here, for example, you enter the cloakroom and try to find your bag, but you fail and say, somebody has taken my bag, how can I get home without my keys? You face the consequence, there is no bag at the cloakroom and no keys, so somebody has taken it. So if you need to emphasize the importance of present consequence of a past action to underline its relevance and significance, you use present perfect. The second case here, we use to use present perfect tense is if it is an action which started in the past and continues or repeats up to the present. In this case, we can use stative verbs, and we often use for and since. For example, I have lived in Moscow since my childhood, meaning that you still live in Moscow. We have been friends for ages, and you are still friends. It has been raining for hours. I've been studying all day. The third case is if we talk about an action which has happened within a specific time period, which is not over at the moment of speaking. It means that this time period is not finished. This period may be today, this morning, this week, recently, this month, this year, and so on. But mind that we don't use present perfect with finished time periods, like yesterday, last week, last month, last year, and so on. For example, We haven't seen him today, and today is not over. Maybe it's evening, but it is not over. I've been very busy this week preparing for the exam. Maybe it's the end of the week you're talking, but the week is not over. He hasn't watched football this month. The next case to use present perfect is if it is a past action which happened at an unstated time period. Normally we don't use time words and references to specific time period in this case, so it looks like the students have finished their projects. She has received St. Valentine's card. You can also use present perfect to talk about your and your friend's whole life experience. In this case, we often use ever and never to talk about life experience. Have you ever heard this song? Have you traveled by car before? My friend has been to Scotland for 2 times. And the last case to use present perfect tense is if it is a past action or state which goes as news. On the news, on the radio, or on television, the headlines are given using the present perfect. You can see here headlines, present perfect tense, and then the details are given using the past simple. So the author switches to past simple always. For example, the number of unemployed has reached 10 million. The ruble has fallen against the dollar. President Trump has promised legal actions in the coming days. Present perfect tense is usually associated with number of specific words. They are just, ever, already, always, never, yet. If you put these words together, the first letters of these words, you'll get mnemonic genie. To remember these words, and if you add another 4 words, for, since, lately, and recently, you'll get mnemonic geniefizor. To remember all the words. So when you use present perfect tense, don't forget that it is a tense that connects present and past, and usually is used to talk about the unfinished time periods or actions or states that are that continue in the present. Thank you.